What's going on, guys? My name is Caden Willis, and welcome back to another one of these strange videos that I did last time. This was the same exact kind of format I did for the Falcons free agency, but for this video that I'm doing, I needed to do kind of similar to this because we are going to be doing predictions for the March Madness bracket. I'm going to give you my full bracket predictions, and I know, yes, there are still some teams that haven't been locked in yet, but we're going to go based off of how we think they are. And then also, this is going to be a good idea by picking them to seeing which ones I will be streaming. So we can go ahead and start with the first one. That is Duke versus Cinderia. Sorry, Cinna. Um, Based on what I've seen, Duke has been in the March Madness bracket a lot. Um, and I've never seen Cena in it. But based on what I've seen so many times, I have to pick Duke to move on. Ohio State versus TCU. Ohio State, this is the first time they have been in the bracket. First time in about 4 years. And TCU, I forget when the last time they were in, but based on what I've seen Ohio State do this season, then they are a pretty good team and they'll beat TCU, move on to play Duke. St. John's versus Northern Iowa. I mean, I did see Northern Iowa play against Illinois. They were pretty good. St. John's, I also saw one of their games. They were also pretty good. Um, but if I have to pick over here, I think St. John's are the better team. So we're gonna go with that. Kansas versus Cal Baptist. Now, I never seen any of Cal Baptist's games, but I saw highlights of Kansas. But I think Kansas is the better team, so we'll go with Kansas. Louisville versus South Florida. I did see a South Florida game highlights, and they were competitive against whoever they played this past weekend. And South Florida seems like the better team right here. I will be picking South Florida over Louisville. Michigan State versus North Dakota State. Um, Mich Michigan State put up a good fight against Michigan about 2 weeks or about a week ago, and I liked how they were kept trying to fight back, even though Michigan won by 7 points. I have to pick Michigan over North Dakota because Michigan seems just like the better team for me. UCLA versus UCF. Um, both good teams, but have to pick UCLA over UCF. UConn versus Furman. UConn, I believe this is the third or fourth time that they're back in here. And just because they are really competitive, I'm gonna have to pick them over Furman. Okay, and then we're gonna move on to the South here. And as yes, Florida is either gonna be playing um these two teams, either of these two teams. So it's if I go back, I cannot go back. Oh yeah, okay. Um, so it's either whoever wins this game on Wednesday. Um, if it comes to a point where one of them, which I will be watching both of their games, if I see how one of them is better, I'll come back and do this. Right now, I do have Florida winning, but if it happens to change, we'll see. But right now, Florida is the better team. Clemson or Ohio. Um, sorry, Iowa. Clemson put up a good fight this past season, and I saw their highlights today. They were pretty dominant against whoever they faced, and Iowa too. But it just comes down to how who really is the better team and has the better chance of taking on Florida. For me, that'd be Clemson. Vanderbilt versus McNeese. Now, just because I am an SEC person, I have to go with Vanderbilt. Nebraska versus Troy. Nebraska obviously is the number 4 seed, while Troy's in the 13. If we're going based off of records, yes, Nebraska is the better team. Troy, not really a good team when it comes to this, so gotta pick Nebraska. North Carolina versus VCU. VCU. I did see their game today. They did win. North Carolina, also a pretty good team. I do have a friend who's a big North Carolina fan, Tar Heels fan. So it just even if he's watching this video, he's like, Hayden, don't pick VCU. Please pick North Carolina. I will, but the thing is, VCU also is kind of good, and they did beat Northern Iowa and whoever they played today. Um, really good team. So I am gonna have to pick VCU. Illinois versus Pennsylvania. This is a pretty easy one. Illinois is the better team. St. Mary's versus Texas A&M. Again, SEC. But St. Mary's, I did look at them. They are a pretty good, decent team. Um, probably not, probably not as good as Texas A&M. You can see that they're just 3 spots away. But as again, you got to go with SEC. So Texas A&M moves on. Houston versus Idaho. Because Houston made it all the way to the championship game and then lost to Florida, I have to pick Houston again. They're going to get their revenge this year. Um, and then moving on to the west side, Arizona versus Long Island. Long Island was able to sneak in here just at the final second, but Arizona, better team. Uh, Villanova versus Utah State. Villanova. I saw their highlights. Pretty good. Not as good as Utah. So I gotta pick Utah. Wisconsin versus High Point. Again, Wisconsin is the better team. High Point, so close to being picked, but personally, me, I gotta pick Wisconsin. Arkansas versus Hawaii. I did see the SEC championship today. Highlights. I didn't really watch it because I was watching the Big Ten championship, which we'll get to that in a minute. Because I believe it's down here. Yeah, it's those 2 games. Okay. Um, but Arkansas was the better team. Hawaii didn't really think that they had a good chance. BYU for either Texas or North Carolina State. Texas be determined. Right now, I do have one of these teams winning. If it changes depending on how the Texas game goes in. If Texas wins, I'll pick them. If they lose, I'll pick by BYU. But right now, it's still in the middle. I know it's really early predictions, but right now I'll just take whoever wins this game right here to move on. Gonzaga versus Kennesaw State. Now Gonzaga last year beat the Georgia Bulldogs, and I do think they'll move on. Kennesaw State, very rare. Haven't seen them in a while on the bracket, but got to go with Gonzaga. Miami or Missouri? Missouri, SEC, but Miami, I've watched their football. I've watched their basketball. They both have good schools for both sports, and I just think Miami's a better team, so I will be taking Miami. Then Purdue versus Queens, New York, or NC. Purdue put up a good fight against Michigan. That was a really good game. If any of you guys saw that, it was a pretty good game. I enjoyed it myself. Crazy ending. Michigan almost came back, but at the end, Purdue with the slam dunk. So yeah, if I had to take Purdue over Queens here, and then Michigan definitely over this game right here. This game, yeah, sorry, this game. Georgia versus St. Louis. Now I did watch one Georgia game this basketball season because I know it started the same time as football season ended, so it's kind of hard to like just shift over. But gotta have to take Georgia. Diehard Dogs fan. Go Dogs. We're gonna take it all the way this year. Um, Texas Tech or Akon? Now Texas Tech is in the Pac-12. Akon is over, and the conferences for basketball are so different than football, so it's kind of hard to know which ones. But I gotta take Texas Tech. They do have the better team, and I feel like they have a chance. Alabama or Hofstra. What? Hofstra. Hofstra. Alabama versus Hofstra. Um, uh, Hofstra. Sorry. I had to look it up because I've never heard of that college, but I am taking Bama because I've never heard of this college. Um, Tennessee, either SMU or Miami. Gotta take Tennessee. Tennessee is the better team. Virginia or Wright State. I think Virginia is better. Kentucky or Santa Clara. Gotta rock with the SEC, you know. And then Iowa State versus Tennessee State. Both these teams are really good, but Iowa State is better. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so that is the predictions here. We gotta, I guess now we go through here. I'm gonna take Duke over Idaho, Ohio State. I'll take Kansas over St. John's. Michigan State over South Florida. UConn over UCLA. And then as you see, you know, it gets once it gets down to like the six seats, Sweet 16, it gets like kind of more interesting. Like you know who's gonna win these games and you know who's gonna lose. Um, and then Florida, obviously I take them over Clemson. And then I think Nebraska better than Vanderbilt, so I'll take them. I'll take VCU over Illinois. I know this is a interesting thing, but I got to take VCU. Then Houston over Texas A&M. And then over here on the west and north Midwest side here, Arizona over Utah State. I'm going to take Arkansas over Wisconsin. And then Gonzaga over either Texas or North Carolina State or BYU, depending on who it is. And then my Purdue over Miami, sorry. Got to take Georgia over Michigan. I know Michigan's the better team, but got to rock with the dogs. Alabama over Texas Tech. Tennessee over Virginia. And then Kentucky over Iowa State. Now we get into about the Elite Eight. So I think Duke is going to make a good run. It's going to beat Kansas. I'll take UConn over Michigan State. Florida over Nebraska. And Houston over VCU. I'm going to take Arizona over Arkansas. This is a hard one now. Now I'm kind of getting tricked out here. I'll take Purdue. And then Georgia over Alabama. Alabama is the better team in the SEC right now. We got to rock with the dogs. And then Tennessee over Kentucky. And then now this is I believe the final four. This is still the Elite Eight. Or yeah, okay. Whatever that is. Like Duke over UConn. Florida over Florida over Houston. Houston's not gonna get that revenge. And then I'll take Purdue over Arizona. I know this is gonna happen, but I gotta take Georgia over Tennessee. And then for the final four here, I'm gonna start over here. I gotta take Purdue over Georgia. I know Georgia's gonna make it all the way and then lose. And then this is gonna be a hard decision because both of these two teams right here, both of these two teams, it's hard to decide which one's better. And Duke and Florida both have been in the same conference area in this bracket for the past 2 years. Gotta rock with Florida though. The championship game, we all know who is gonna win it. And I have Florida being the champion by my score prediction. Okay. Let's go 78 to 76, a 2-point game. it'll be tied at the final minute and then or final few seconds, and then Florida comes and scores a 2-pointer and wins the game. And so yeah, that is my bracket. Florida, I have Florida winning all the way. Um, but type who you think is going to be winning the championship and the whole bracket. Give me your prediction in the comments below. This is my predictions for the March Madness bracket. I will see you on some streams for the games. I will let you know by writing a post on which games I'll stream so you know when I will be. First game we'll be streaming is the Georgia versus St. Louis. Georgia versus St. Louis. So stay tuned for that. I believe it's like 9:45 at night on Thursday. And then we'll be definitely streaming on Friday night and Saturday in the day and probably a Sunday game too. So I'll see you then. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.